I mean, the screen, it's almost as big as the price tag. Let's talk about what you're getting for your money. This thing is not cheap. It's $1,099. You've got a great camera in your pocket, although it's actually not the best. And the phone is really fast, although technically it's not the fastest. But none of that matters. The Note 10 is Samsung's best phone, hands down. We've had more fun with this phone than any other smartphone in 2019. Let's start with the display. The screen is so big, it takes up the entire front of the phone and then some. It's got Samsung's signature edge-to-edge design that's sharp in more ways than one. Okay, so it doesn't have the fluid, silky smooth, 90Hz screen refresh rate that we've seen in the OnePlus 7 Pro. And the edges, they can produce a false touch if you hold onto the phone too tightly. But both those problems seem kind of trivial when you just take a minute and bask in the technological marvel of this 6.8-inch screen. False touches or not, you definitely will want to keep a tight grip on the Note 10 because it can be slippery. Now, I know my DMs are going to be blowing up for saying this, but kind of have mixed feelings about the Aurora Glow glass back. Not only is it hard to hold onto without a case, but it smudges so badly. You're going to be spending as much time wiping it clean as you are scrolling through Instagram. All that said, if you get the Aurora Glow version and hold it in the right light, it has this neat rainbow effect that quite literally makes it your shiny new toy. Now, people hear 6.8-inch screen and they kind of freak out, but it's not actually any bigger than the 6.5-inch iPhone, and that's because of this punch hole center-aligned camera. The hole is actually 26% smaller than the S10 camera hole, and it's easier to ignore than Apple's more intrusive notch. The streamlined front camera does lose the IR scanner that came in the last two Note phones. That was used for securely unlocking and paying for things with your face. In its place is a fancy new in-screen fingerprint sensor, which we found more than enough to secure your device. But not every trade-off is so great. The traditional headphone jack, look for it, it's not here. It's been replaced with a USB-C port for audio, and you can plug in some included in the box USB-C headphones. The other non-surprise is Bixby is still, well, Bixby. Every time I try a new Samsung phone, the first thing it says is, "Meet the new Bixby." But guess what? We've already met. It's the same mediocre voice assistant every time. Without a doubt, the Note 10's secret weapon has to be the S Pen. The stylus is shorter and thinner than its older brother, but it still packs in some of the same features that we like the remote shutter and screen off memo. What's new are the remote gestures. While they're fairly gimmicky, I can't help but like them. You can zoom in and zoom out with a clockwise, counterclockwise rotation, and change modes by swiping, even if you're standing several feet away. Capturing remote photos does sound really cool, but unless you have this thing mounted on a tripod, it's not actually feasible. Laying it down on the ground gives you really unflattering shots. And let's be honest, no one's propping this bad boy up on a ledge just to swish and flick a selfie. The S Pen has better handwriting recognition compared to the previous generation. Now keep in mind, better, it's really a relative term, because as good as it is, it still makes mistakes, and quite frequently. Even worse, it's cumbersome in that you have to export your scribbles into a third-party app. What I'm trying to say here is don't expect the Note 10 to turn your crappy handwriting into instant text from Samsung Notes. It's just not going to happen, which is too bad. It's kind of an oversight. But that's just me. The Note 10 has 4 cameras on back, and even if Google's Pixel phones take better main camera photos, the extra lenses here do bring something new to the table. The ultra-wide lens is by far my favorite. It crams more of what's in front of you into your photo. You can get an all-encompassing picture with an artsy fisheye effect without having to back up. The telephoto lens is also fairly good. It has a 2x zoom that doesn't come with much distortion. When it comes to low-light photos, they look better than ever, and that's thanks to a new dedicated night mode. It helps for taking pictures in low light, like at night. Without it, people's skin too often looks soft, like a 1980s family photo portrait. There's a lot of airbrushing going on. And here's what we really like. The punch hole camera on front will take your selfie game to a whole new level. The live focus filters like color point and the new filter big circles make it even more fun to take pictures of yourself. In all seriousness, the Note 10 Plus has the best selfie camera we've ever tested. Where the camera really excels is in video. Live focus video blurs the background while keeping your subject in focus. It's better than what we saw on the LG G8, but it still struggles in some areas, and the practicality, well, that's still a mystery for us. Another new feature is zoom in audio, and it does serve a purpose. It amplifies the subject you're zooming into. However, we found it just makes everything in a room louder. What really matters is that video has great optical image stabilization, beating anything we found from an iPhone. And it has a fantastic video editor. This is where the S Pen actually does come in handy. Now, I know what you're thinking. Matt, are there any needless visual effects built into the phone that are real time wasters and serve no purpose at all? Glad you asked. With the Note 10, Samsung serves up AR Doodle and 3D Scanner. AR Doodle lets you draw on faces and see everything track the subject in 3D. 3D Scanner, well, that lets you import physical objects into the digital world. No doubt they're new and different, but I wouldn't call them groundbreaking or even practical. As you would expect from a new Note, the 10 Plus is among the fastest phones available. Sure, last year's iPhone and a few other Androids, they're a tinge faster, but that's mostly about bragging rights. Samsung packs in 12 gigabytes of RAM and a vapor cooling chamber designed to handle today's 3D games and whatever comes next. One perk that's exclusive to the Plus that you won't find on the normal Note, it retains the micro SD card slot for expandable storage. You know, just in case the 256 gigs or 512 gigs of internal storage, in case they aren't enough for you. When it comes to software, Samsung redesigned its UX to be logically laid out on such a tall device. Everything is easy to reach within its own menu system, and the camera app, it's one of the most robust. The Note 10 also works with PCs and Macs, with the PC actually benefiting from a link to Windows mode. More mobile apps are coming to the PC later in 2019. As far as battery life goes, how does 4,300 milliamps sound? That is so much battery that you'll never need to worry about losing juice, even with heavy use. We put the Note 10 through its paces, and by the end of the day, we often had 30% battery life left. Best of all, the Note 10 Plus supports 45-watt chargers, which can charge your phone back to 100% in about an hour. But keep in mind, the charger is sold separately. Of course, it does come with a 25-watt charger in the box, which will give you good charging speeds too. And a first for the Note, Samsung has included wireless power share. It's a feature borrowed from the S10 series, so you can charge an irresponsible friend's iPhone by treating the back of the Note 10 like a Qi charger. Look, it's a buyer's market when it comes to phones in 2019. You have a lot of options, including several from Samsung. But the Note 10 Plus, to me, represents premier phone hardware. It's the one to get if you dig a huge screen, can't get enough of the fun-to-use stylus, demand more power, and fancy yourself an amateur filmmaker. If you're concerned about the price tag, consider there are 3 different Samsung Galaxy S10 phones on sale right now, and they're all priced at a considerable markdown. Not to mention the normal Note 10. Okay, it doesn't have all the fancy bells and whistles of the Note 10 Plus, but it does come with the same S Pen, and it has a friendlier screen that can fit a little bit better in one hand. It's almost as if Samsung is giving you too many choices, and for consumers, that's a big win for us. I'm Matt Swider with TechRadar. For news and reviews about technology, keep it locked at TechRadar.com.